Hey everybody, Andy here, aka Montolio, and today we are here with our red-blue cantrip deck, Sprite Dragons. So let's take a look here. That one's not going to cut it. We did win the die roll. Don't think that's worth it. It's a little bit rough, but at least we have a turn 1 Sprite Dragon um, with a cantrip on top of it. I think we're going to put back Brazen Borrower. Keep my cantrips. Hopefully I can play a Sprite Dragon and find a land with Preordain, being able to cast a second Sprite Dragon. Like, it's a fairly powerful turn 1, if we can find the land. Otherwise we're in some trouble, in all likelihood. Keep that. I think I'm going to put back the Borrower. Let's see what we can do here. So, we're going to cast a Sprite Dragon for sure. Hopefully this resolves. It does, which is great. We're looking for a red source here, would be solid. Unfortunately, none of those are really what we're looking for. Okay. Now we're just looking for a blue source. Oh my goodness. That's really actually quite upsetting. Not finding a land after taking a peek at 4 different cards there. But hopefully we can find one off the top. And finding a lightning bolt here is not the worst. One of the unfortunate reasons is that I'm a little miffed not to find a land is a lightning bolt ends my Sprite Dragon here, which is not good for us with our opponent having 8 cards in hand. So it would have been nice to put it at a bolt range there. Now, of course, it could just die to a Fatal Push or an Abrupt Decay, something of that nature, but that is the peril, or an STP for that matter. Mother of Runes, okay. Alright, that's not so bad. We have an answer to Mother of Runes. Land? Oh, come on, guys. I think I'm just going to kill this right now. I mean, the Mother's going to be problematic. We're just not going to get a better opportunity to kill it. We've got the bolt, so I think that's good. And hopefully the Sprite Dragon can just close it out. I mean, if this is the white weenie deck, they are running main deck Path to Exiles. This deck does run a whole bunch of basic lands in it, one of the selling points of the deck. But this player we're playing against is quite a rogue player. You never know what they're gonna put in their deck, which is good quality to have. Wasteland, okay. Hopefully they don't have something like a Palace Jailer. A Palace Jailer would be fairly devastating for us here. Hull Breacher, okay. Hull Breacher sucks, but it's not good for us. Oh, they do have the STP. Okay. Well, we need to find another blue source here. Time Walk does not cut it. Okay. I mean, we're not out of this yet, is the funny thing, you know. We do have another Sprite Dragon to cast. And Time Walk is a pretty good card, so now they can pressure us here pretty good between these 2 cards, but there's not much we can do about that. I still think we can win this race if we find the blue source here now. Oh my goodness, all dead cards with a Hull Breacher. One of the problems of my deck, the shortcomings, and something I tried to address when I put it, as I kind of tinker with it and play with this deck, is that it really has a poor removal suite. It's a very counter-heavy deck. And once you resolve something against me that's problematic, it's hard for me to remove. So I did move up to a third lightning bolt for this league, but of course, as you can see, this is a situation where lightning bolt is going to be outclassed by an aspirant. So I don't think we're going to win this game now, but hopefully we can make amends after sideboarding. That said, I don't really think we have anything specific for this type of match. In the board, it's more slated towards shops and dredge, being able to acclimate to those matchups out of the board. Okay, so they got us game one. That's unfortunate. We did cheat though a little bit, and we never actually found a land up until now, which a wasteland is not going to help us. Of note, they only had one blue source that entire game, so maybe their mana base is a little bit shaky between having Ancient Tombs and Wastelands in their deck. I mean, I think this is fine. We need to be cognizant of hull breachers coming out. Certainly they're running Ancient Tombs to fix that. Okay, let's see what we can do this time. Yeah, it seems reasonable, doesn't it? Not a great hand against a creature deck, but okay, I think we just start with a cantrip here. Let's see what we can do with that. I actually think these are all reasonable. I'm going to play the Mystic Sanctuary here. They're likely somewhat disincentivized to kill that, but it does show some level of weakness. But we kept 2 cards on top, so I don't suspect my opponent will be incentivized to Wasteland, and if they do, I think that's really good for me. Ancient Tomb, okay. Lotus is a bit scary here. I don't think I'm going to give him that Lotus, to be honest. Get rid of Narset here. I think Narset is nominal value in this matchup. I mean, of course, I don't know how my opponent's deck is built. It's obviously quite rogue, but I think we needed to be assertive in that position. I think both of these cards are fairly good. I don't think we need to play around mental misstep here. I mean, it would be really unfortunate if they had it, but I think that's just the world we're living in. And I think we were just going to preordain here and build towards a dig through time. I think Pyroblast is probably not so great here, but I think it's very likely what our opponent's going to do is try and get us with Hull Breacher next turn. We have the Force of Will for that. I think I'm just going to go and get the basic here. That way it ensures we're able to dig through time next turn, and we have a Force of Will up here if need be. So this looks like it's likely to be a Hull Breacher, just main deck. Time Walk. Okay. I think Time Walk's fine. It's not worth fighting over that one. Obviously a little bit sad if we get Wastelanded here, but that's the risk of the type of hand we've kept. Yeah. Hull Breacher. I don't think we want to deal with Hull Breacher. I think I'm going to get rid of the Brainstorm here. They will go after our red source, and I think that's okay. I'm going to be a little bit greedy. I don't think I'm going to play around days. I think it would be really peculiar in an Ancient Tomb Wasteland deck for my opponent to be running days, but suffice it to say, you never know what you're going to get sometimes when you're playing against people. But I think we want, what do we want here? I really would like to get a red source, but I think that's a little bit greedy for us to do that. It's possible that my opponent is going to play something like a Hull Breacher, which scares me because they're likely playing draw sevens. But I think I'm going to get a Gush and a Force of Will. Try something like this. Like if they play something like an Aspirant, I'm not going to fight over that. Okay, so they are holding up Hull Breacher here by the looks of things. They're passing turn, and they're looking to try and entrap me. And I think that's okay. I think I can play into that because I've got the Force of Will. Yep, so this is Hull Breacher. So of course this requires us being able to win this counter war here to stop that. No, they do have a Flusterstorm up, an Ancestral. Geez, okay. Good for them. So there is the red source. Let's get that going. Now, I think we're in a little bit of trouble here because our opponent has 6 cards now, and we have an awful lot of land in our hand, and them having something like an STP here is fairly reasonable. They're just going to do a draw 7? A Mentor. Okay. Oh, 3-ball. Okay. 3-ball is fine. I still think we should, I mean, you know, I could bolt them here to face and try and get my clock going a little bit better, but I think we need to be judicious about, you know, being able to kill something like a Hull Breacher. I think Thalia's fine here. Thalia doesn't really impact anything. Perhaps now I just do. I think I'm going to just put it right to their face here and try and close things out. Hopefully we get to untap. Yeah. Treasure Cruise. 1, 2. We are a turn away from being able to Ancestral Recall. I can still cruise, though, without getting rid of the recall, right? No. Thalia's stymied us there. I don't really want to get rid of the recall, but I might need to. I think I'm probably just going to. It's a little bit awkward, but I'm feeling somewhat incentivized to try and close this out here. Okay, happy to draw another Sprite Dragon there. Will they flash something in here? No, they would have done that with my Treasure Cruise, of course. Makes sense. Rest in peace. Yeah, sure. Not sure why they're running that for. Maybe they're running the energy, the combo with Rest in Peace. What's that called? Energy Field. That's what it is. The other two casting cost enchantment, one blue, one colorless with Rest in Peace. That it's fairly solid combo. I certainly would have no outs to it here. Maybe just a Brazen Borrower. Okay, so we're pretty close here to being able to close this one out. I do have a Force of Will here for something. The only card that really kind of gets me is STP. I could Dark Fate in their Soul Ring. Doesn't do a whole lot, but that puts them to 2 life, and that means that they can't use their Ancient Tomb. Or I could Sprite Dragon. I think I kind of like docking them. But is that even necessary, holding up a Force of Will, though? I don't think so. I think I can just sit on Force here. No, it's possible my opponent does it. Okay. We'll take that one. No, I of course have really no idea what's going on over there. Just a very bizarre deck. You know, like, do I want Shattering Sprees? All of a sudden, there's Trinispheres, and I don't know. Very interesting. Anyways, we don't have anything to come in here. I'm not going to bring in the Shattering Spree for this. Yeah, an awkward hand. I mean, is it something I could keep on the draw? It's possible. I mean, it's very, very greedy. We've got a Force and a Misdirection to try and buy time. Red Source. You know, if they try and do something like an Ancestral, it's pretty good, right? This is very greedy, though, if I keep this. Got 2 turns to find a land. I guess I'll keep it. I don't know. I like to keep these hands sometimes. You know, they're high risk, high reward. You know, I think it's a possibility I just die if I don't find one. But, you know, my opponent's given us somewhat of a chance here. They've mulled to 5. So they're probably doing the correct mulliganing, and I'm keeping the greedy hand here, but that's okay. Live by the sword, die by the sword, right? You know, it looks masterful if I peel a blue source off the top, in particular a red source, like a volcanic or a fetch, but we'd even go for just a mountain. Mana Crypt. How do I feel about Mana Crypt? I don't really want them having that. Get rid of a Dak Faden here. Daze and Misdirection could have some very good value. Like if they Ancestral here or something. Okay, so we didn't find what we were looking for in a blue producing mana. They did not have an ancestral, unfortunately. Okay. Okay, we got punished. Now, my opponent mulled quite low. The question is, can they capitalize here? Like, we're pretty vulnerable. Okay, they've got one land. Is this an ancestral? It is. Wow. Well, this could be really good for us. I think we get rid of the dig. We're quite a ways away. Okay. It worked for us. And we found a wasteland, which is pretty great. I'm going to, considering they missed a land drop last turn, I think I'm going to wasteland. Yes, it'd be amazing to have days up, but not necessary. Or I hope it's not anyways. Lotus. Oh boy. That's one of the few cards that can punish me, couldn't it? Well, we do have an answer to that. Sadly, we don't have the counter spell up for it, but I think that's all right. We're gonna try and do this during our turn here. We could wait till their upkeep to prevent them from playing something else, but I mean that was a pretty high impact play from my opponent, I would say. Ripping the Lotus like that, but that's all right. I think Arcanist has the highest upside here. We're gonna lead with that. And next turn we can just play a Pyromancer and start chaining cantrips. Hopefully we find a land. Maybe it was better to play Pyromancer, actually, in hindsight. I gotta play... Do I have a cantrip? I do not. Okay, so let's go and see if we can find a cantrip here. Alright, not a cantrip, excuse me. A land. There we go. Now we got the Pyromancer. And we're going to start chaining, hopefully. Do the Preordain here. Yeah, packs it in. Okay, so, I mean, we kept a greedy hand game 3. Our opponent mulliganed down to 5, and... You know, we stumbled for a turn before finding a... Well, we banked on having the misdirection and then potentially having the ancestral, and that gambit did pay off and ended up winning us the game. So we found we drew 3 cards, and they didn't, and we won the game. So I'll take that win.